Average hockey fan here once again, and after a brutal loss to the New Jersey Devils last night, I can't even call them New Jersey Devils because half of those guys were called up from the minors. After a brutal loss to New Jersey last night and a loss to Toronto previous to that, Montreal is playing Detroit. Detroit is on a 5-game losing streak, and their team Montreal does very well against. Last game they beat them 7-3. Last year they beat them 10-1. Their team Montreal seems to jump all over early, and I'm hoping that trend continues in this game. It hasn't been pretty this year for Detroit. They do have some decent players. I'm not sure who they moved out to play at that deadline. I don't know if they moved anybody. They were supposed to be moving Jimmy Howard, but they didn't move him after. Anyways, as for Detroit, they're 23-31-9 this year. They're 7th in the Atlantic. Their last game, they lost 5-3 to San Jose. In their last 5 games, they're 0-3-2, so they haven't won a game in regulation. In the last 5 games, they haven't won regulation. Their goals for is 177th, 24th in the league. Their goals against is 212, 28th in the league. Their power play is 16.57%, 25th in the league, and their penalty kill is 77.55%, 25th in the league. Their goaltending isn't the best. Their starter's all right, Jimmy Howard. Their backup in Bernier, he used to be a good player. He doesn't seem to be a reliable player anymore. My friend is a really good Colorado fan, and he liked him in Colorado, but after a while he got sick of him because he was inconsistent. Howard, 42 games played, 17, 16, and 5. He has 17 wins, 16 losses, 5 overtime losses. He has 0 shutouts this year. He has a 9-10 save percentage, 2.88 GAA goals against. And the backup, Bernier, 27 games played, 6 wins, 15 losses, 4 overtime losses, 1 shutout, under 900 save percentage with .898 and 3.3 goals against. I can see now why my friend was sick of him, who was a Colorado fan, completely see that. Anyways, their leaders in scoring. It tends to be a big drop-off after their top 5 leaders. They don't seem to have much scoring depth on their team. I looked at their scoring sheets. I wrote down their top 3, but once you get outside Detroit's top 5, it's really not good. Really, outside the top 3, it's not good. The only guy close to them is like 31 points. 30 points or something like that. It's not pretty in Detroit scoring-wise. Larkin is their leading scorer. Very fast, very effective player. Connor reminds me of a Paul Byron type, but he has a better finishing ability and he has more offensive weapons, but he has that speed Byron has and he can do everything. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife that way. Larkin, 62 games played, 26 games, 26 goals, 35 assists, 61 points. He's a -5 and a 10.8 shooting percentage. Anthony Ciu is their second best player. As I like to say it always sounds like when they're saying his name is happy to see you. That's what it sounds like they're saying every time they say that guy's name. And I'm not happy to see him if he scores on us. 57 games played, 22 goals, 17 assists, 39 points, -7, 13.5 shooting percentage. So 2 of their top scorers are minus players. This next guy is a minus player though. Tyler Bertuzzi, 54 games played, 15 goals, 17 assists, 32 points, +9 and 17%. The past few games Montreal has played against Detroit, this is the one guy that I noticed really did show up to play, Bertuzzi. He seems to be an irritating player. He's a physical player. He's not scared to get under goalie's skin, and he can produce offensively. Detroit didn't do much to Montreal in the last few games. They weren't even close games, but as for the players that looked good on Detroit, Bertuzzi looked good in the past few games, against Montreal at least. Their ice time leader is Dylan Larkin with 21 minutes 55 seconds, so they don't wear out their players too much as far as ice time goes. They don't have no defensemen over 20 minutes from what I've seen. Their game-winning goals is Larkin, no, they don't have. They only have 2 defensemen over 20 minutes, I think. I could be mistaken. Game-winning goals, Larkin and Nielsen both had 4 this year. As for Montreal, they're 33, 23, and 7. They're 4th in the Atlantic Division. Their last game, they lost 2-1 to New Jersey's. All of us Habs fans know it. It was a brutal game. I made a good recap for it last night. If you want to go check it out, you can. It's not the most positive recap, but it does recap the game, and it's my feelings on the game. My prediction was way off in my review, by the way, too. Their last 5 are 2-3-0, so they have won 2 games, but they've lost 3. No points in overtime. It would have been nice to at least get a point in that Toronto game in overtime. Their goals for a lot better than Detroit at 188, 13th in the league. Their goals against is 185, 14th in the league. Their power play is 12.69%, good for 30th in the league. Nashville is the worst than them somehow. I have no idea how, but the power play was abysmal last game. They went 0 for 4 in their last game on the power play. They need to get it going. They're so good 5-on-5. I'm pretty sure they're still top 10 in the league 5-on-5. So even if they had a half good power play, an average power play, they would be a much more effective team. We've seen what special teams can do. The Leafs got that win over the Habs with their special teams. Is what got them on the board. They got 2 power play goals, and they came back and tied it up, and they won the game. Habs don't have that going for them. They had 4 chances last night to tie the game against New Jersey. They had 4 separate power plays where they could have tied the game, and none of them, they capitalized on 0 of them. They did look a bit better. Still too much passing and not enough shooting and not enough taking chances when you should. Their Price this year, he has 49 games played and 25 goals. Actually, their penalty kill last game, I got to say, was really good. 4 for 4, and their penalty kill 79.60%, 21st in the league, in case I forgot to mention that. Carey Price, 49 games played, 25 wins, 18 losses, 5 overtime losses, .916 save percentage, 2.5 goals against, 3 shutouts. He was pretty solid down the stretch last night. He made some beautiful saves in the third period, but he wasn't reliable in the second. Well, he was reliable, but the one goal that did go in, he did deserve to get beat on the very first goal. But the second goal, I'm not sure. He could have had that. I don't know. For Price to let in 2 goals on the first 12 shots, yeah, they were hard shots to stop, but it's just not a good look for Carey Price. But he was good down the stretch, and he managed to get a save percentage up a bit, but he didn't get the win. And I'm sure Price would rather play bad and get the win than play great and the team lose. I know. I would assume that's what Price's attitude is like. Niemi. I'm hearing Niemi's probably going to be the starter tonight. I hope he's not the starter tonight. This is not a game they can afford to lose. I'm sure Price will have a bounce back game. I don't think he's been ridden too much. He'd be too overtired to play the game. He didn't have no problem jumping in net for Niemi last time when they lost the game, and he did pretty well. But Niemi let in 3 right off the hop. They can't afford to let that happen again. So I would assume they would start Price, but I've been hearing Niemi. I'm just hoping that's not the case myself. Niemi, 16 games played, 8-5-2, .889 save percentage, 3.75 goals against, and 0 shutouts. The scoring leaders is pretty much the same as when I did my review last game. Not much happened last game for Montreal. Byron had a goal, Dano had an assist. Domi still the scoring leader, 63 games played, 20 goals, 34 assists, 54 points, plus 10, 13.9% shooting. Domi was pretty solid last game, but he didn't do much, and he took one really stupid penalty where he grabbed the guy by the head, face washed him. He's done that 3 or 4 times this year. He did it at a bad time in Washington, which pretty much cost him the game because they ended up getting the game-time goal off it. So I love Domi. He's producing a lot, but stop with the dumb penalties. Stop getting so heated and being physical. You can see Julian's face on the bench when Domi takes a dumb penalty. Yes, you're a player that likes to get physical and likes to get in on the play and stuff. But do that, but don't be stupid. Don't run players. Don't be cheap. Don't sucker them. Don't do stuff like that. I love Domi. I'm not hating on Domi at all, but he does do some greasy things. He is a player that can agitate players, but he takes it too far at times, and it costs him and it hurts the team. Tatar, 62 games played, 21 goals, 25 assists, 46 points, plus 13, 13.1 shooting percentage. And Drouin had a really good game last night. He wasn't on the board. He drew 2 penalties. He was all over the ice. He was entering the zone like it was nothing. He was one of the few players that stood out to me last night. People can say what they want about him. He doesn't work. He did work hard last night. He did play good in New Jersey. And nothing showed for him. But as far as what he looked like on the ice to me, he looked good. Drouin is 62 games played, 17 goals, 29 assists, 46 points, -2. 10.5 shooting percentage, and he hasn't had a point in 7 games now, so he needs to pick it up. Since he's had those 9 points in 3 games, he hasn't had a point. Ice time leader, Shea Weber, with a nice chunk of ice time, 24:01. That guy's earning his money for sure. Game-winning goal leaders, excuse me guys, my mouth is a bit dry here. Game-winning goal leaders, Thomas Tatar with 4. No one's even close to him. The only closest guy to him, I believe, is Niemi or maybe Shaw, somebody like that, maybe Domi. He had 2, but Tatar has 2 more than anybody next to him. He has game-winning goals. He has 2. For the Habs to win tonight, they need to do what they always do against Detroit. They need to get out to an early lead. They need to play with confidence, hopefully get a power play goal, stop the traffic in front of the net for Price. Don't let Detroit get their 2-on-1 rushes. Don't let guys like Larkin use their speed against you. Don't let Franz, Nielsen, and Larkin pounce, because those are the only real opportunistic guys on the team. Don't let their best players be their best players and score goals, which will cost you the game. Last night, Montreal played a very weak team, a team that wasn't even full squad. A lot of the guys were call-ups, and they looked like the inferior team. They came out stale. They came out flat. They took the team lightly. They didn't play like they would against a team like Toronto or Winnipeg. They didn't have their feet under them until the third period. It was too little, too late, and they can't afford to do this tonight. They need to be all over Detroit. They need to come out flying. They need to get scoring chance after scoring chance until they beat Howard or Bernier, whoever's in net, and they need to capitalize on their chances. I would like to see a solid penalty kill game like last night and a power play goal. I don't care if you get 10 power plays and only get one goal. I just want to see a power play goal in the game. It's driving me crazy seeing this power play do nothing. It's an absolute disaster. It truly is a disaster, the power plays in Montreal. And let's hope they don't fall off the rails. A lot of Habs fans have been commenting on these and on social media saying they're out of it now. There's no chance. I don't believe in them. Have more faith, guys. The only team that's realistically going to catch them, Buffalo may if they go on a run, but I really highly doubt it. The only team realistically going to catch them is Carolina. And if you're telling me Carolina is that much better than Montreal, you don't watch many Canes games. Yes, they can score. Yes, their goaltending is standing on its head at nights, but their defense is shoddy, and I don't think they're a team that's going to come firing down the stretch and go like the Habs will. I don't think they have the heart. I don't think they have the fight. I don't think they have the talent that the Habs have, and they don't have an all-world goalie like Carey Price. That's just my opinion. Montreal should make the playoffs. I'm not panicking yet. Don't hit the panic button, guys. Don't worry too much. Don't sweat it. MB could have did more yesterday, but they still should make the playoffs. A lot of people are saying they want a Stanley Cup. Like, come on, be realistic, guys. Last year, they had no prospects besides Ryan Poehling. They had a terrible team that could not score. They completely turned it around. Everything's looking good so far compared to what it was last year. They're projected this year to be 27th. TSN Sportsnet had them 27th, 28th in their power rankings. They were projected to do nothing, to not even be close to the playoffs, to not even contend for years, and for the future to be completely grim. And our cupboards are stocked with good prospects. We're in the playoffs at the moment. Possibly they could contend if Price went on a run. Like, this team is not a bad team, so don't panic. Don't let it get to you too much, because I've been hearing a lot of crazy things, which are kind of blowing my mind a bit myself. I've watched the Habs for years. I know what they're like down the stretch, and I know what Carey Price is like down the stretch. And if there's anybody that can get you into the playoffs and take you on a serious run, whether you're a great team, an inferior team, or just a mediocre average team, it's Carey Price. And I truly have faith in that. I've seen him do it multiple times. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, feel free to leave a comment. Stay tuned later for my recap. Ring that bell. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for all the kind comments lately and all the support. You all have a great day. Enjoy the game, because I know I will.